Hello everyone, I hope you are doing good and reading awesome books. So if you're new here, my name is Ravi, and in this video we are going to talk about productivity books. So the books that I'm going to talk about are very different topics, like in the same niche of productivity. Like some of the books talks about mind management, and some of the books talks about focus. Some of these are talks about attention and deep work, and a lot of these things that really matters in allocating our time, because a lot of the times we are very confused with our work and our task, because a lot of the times we really messed up doing things, and if we don't have any system to rely on, we are gonna always messed up with our works and our tasks. So these are some of the great books that I have read in the productivity niche, and I hope everyone who have read this book already, they know these books give tips and insights so that everyone can follow and increase their productivity life. So make sure you have check out all of these books. So let's get started with the books. So the first book is Hyper Focus by Chris Bailey. So this book talks about focus and attention, and it also talks about which is the task that is very important to us and which is task that not very important to us, and it defines productive tasks and unproductive tasks. So we have some kind of choice and differentiate which are the tasks that is very important to us and which is the task that is productive and unproductive. And it also talks about the hyper focus thing. I think the hyper focus is some kind of same thing flow state. When we reach into the flow state, we can't there's no one to disturb us, because we are in the flow state and we are more deeply into that our own stuff, in our own thing that we are doing it. And it is the same thing that is hyper focus. When we are very hyper focused doing something, so we are in that deep state of working, and in that deep state of doing thing, that there's nothing to distract us. So the next book is Do It Today by Darius Foru. So Darius Foru has a blog, and he handpicked 30 blog posts from his website, and he put it all together in this book and kind of structured it all together so that it makes sense. And also this book is divided into 3 parts. First is overcoming procrastination, second is improving productivity, and the third is achieving more. So this book is kind of all of these mixtures of increasing our state of mind to do things more effectively. And this is very helpful book, and I kind of read it and enjoyed it a lot. So I think this book is mainly focusing on the philosophy of doing today, not doing tomorrow. So a lot of the times we kind of think instead of doing today, we put things for tomorrow. So this is the philosophy of this book, and these tips and insights are very helpful to overcoming procrastination and improving our productivity, to do our important task first, not for tomorrow. So the next book is Indestructible by Nir Eyal. So when I first time read this book, it's kind of felt very, very important and very interesting book, because this book talks about controlling our attention and choosing our life and improving our productivity. Because a lot of the times we kind of busy with our digital devices, our smartphones, laptop, and these apps, and these kind of big IT companies controlling our thoughts and our mind on this on basically on attention, because these devices and apps requires our attention. And if we're busy with doing this all of kind of things in our smartphone, we kind of messed up with our mind, and we can't really have those quality attention which is very important for doing our task. And this is very important to controlling our thoughts from these digital devices and external distractions, because a lot of the times this is very important to have those quality attention, to have those quality state of mind, which is very, very important when it comes to our very important tasks. The next book is Mind Management, Not Time Management by David Cadway. So this is, I'm currently reading it, and it's kind of really interesting to read, because it talks about productivity. It's not about time management, it's more about mind management. So the quality of our mind, having ideas, those creativeness, those kind of creative thoughts that we are having. It's not about how long period of time we are doing those tasks effectively and productively. It's about from those time slot, how creatively we are doing these things, and how creatively we are having ideas around those things. So this is more about mind management. It's not about time management. So this is kind of very interesting things that I have read from this book. Next book is Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. So Eat That Frog is basically doing your very important task first. So let's say you have your to-do list and 5 or 6 tasks you have included in that list. So you have to know your task that which is the task that is very meaningful to you, and also very important to you, your purposeful task. So do those tasks first, instead of doing your any other task which is some kind of which is requires less time. You thought if I do it, it just kind of takes 5 minutes. And so you have to avoid those tasks and do your very important task. So do your very important task first. The next book is Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. So this book talks about 10 things that nobody what he told us about being creative, about being in your own original form. So this is also talks about, a lot of the times we see these great artists, this great like actor, painter, or like TV host, a lot of these artists, and we see this is some kind of very original that they are doing it, and most of the time it is not originality, it is just some kind of original in their own sense, but it is like an inspiration that they have also taken with someone else. So this is kind of mixture of both these things, like originality plus also taking inspiration from others. And in this book it talks about like how we can take inspiration from others and kind of mix those together, like all of our own thing and some kind of percentage of of taking inspiration from others. And this is the great thing about being creative, and it's a great book. So if you haven't read it, so make sure to check it out. It's a great book. When I first time read this book, it's like blowed my mind away, because a lot of the times I kind of felt like this originality is some kind of their own thing, but this is most of the time taking inspiration from others. So it's a great book. If you haven't read it, make sure to check it out. Next book is Getting Things Done by David Allen. So this book kind of very practical book about productivity, and it provides a framework that you can use to follow like every day, and which is something that I have been using from a long period of time. Like capturing your ideas, engaging it, like reflecting on it, and allocating your ideas, and last with how we can engage with those ideas. And this is very practical book about doing all of those things, with kind of put it all together into the system, all of your tasks, and which is very effective. So make sure to check out this book, Getting Things Done by David Allen, and it's my favorite book in the productivity niche, because it talks about like a framework system, how we can put all of our tasks into the framework system. And if you do that, you will have less pressure on your mind also, because a lot of the times this doing tasks and things, if you don't have a system framework, we put a lot of pressure on our mind. And if we have trustworthy system that we can put all of our tasks together, it kind of have less pressure on our mind. Next book is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. So this book contains 7 simple habits that we can use in our life to improve our day-to-day life better. So this book is something that I have read a long time ago, and I thought I should include this book in this list, because it's also improving our life and making our a meaningful life with productive also, because this book should be included. It's not matter like I've read a long time ago, because this also contains very much important life lessons that should be considered. So make sure you read if you haven't read this book already. Next book is Deep Work by Cal Newport. So this book it also talks about deep work. When it comes to deep work, we are more focused into our own zone, our own activity, and there's no one that is distract to us, because a lot of the outer world side where is noise and distraction. And when it's our own zone, when it comes to flow state with deep work, and that is also the hyper focus that we have talked about earlier in this video, it is kind of same thing, and which is a very effective mode if we are into this kind of mind state. When it comes to hyper focus or flow state or deep work, this is kind of same stuff, and deep work is very effective when when you are fully immersed into your own activity, doing your own thing, and there's no one else matters in your life, because on that time period you are very deeply engaged with your own activity. So Deep Work by Cal Newport is a great book to be considered when it comes to focus and productivity, and yeah, so make sure to read it if you haven't read it. The next book is The One Thing by Gary Keller. So this book talks about focusing on one thing, the one task that is very important to you, and eliminate all the other tasks, and not doing those multiple tasks at once, because when you do multiple tasks and focusing on multiple things at once, you will be more likely be distracted by those multiple tasks instead of focusing your one thing at once. So this book talks about how you can perform your one task with very effectively and focus, and it also gives tips and insight like how you can do that. So these are all the productivity books that I think will be very helpful to you if you are searching for some best productivity books that will be very effective to you. So make sure to check out these books, and I will also put the links in the description box below, so you can check out that as well. And if you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe to my channel and also hit the bell icon, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.